The Galactic Council chamber on the neutral station of Vorn Prime was the single largest artificial structure in the known galaxy. Built over 10,000 years by contributions from its founding members, it was a monument not to any single species, but to the concept of collective governance itself. 200 meters from floor to summit. 12,000 individual delegate stations arranged in ascending rings around a central speaking floor. Each station customized for the atmospheric and gravitational needs of its occupant species. Simultaneous translation in over 4,000 languages, managed by a dedicated AI complex that had been running continuously for the better part of 8,000 years. When Elder Vael stepped onto the speaking floor, he was flanked by two members of the Kel'vari delegation. His skin was carefully controlled, calm blue, projecting the composure he did not feel. Elder Vael, members of the Galactic Council, we come before you in accordance with Article 7 of the Council Charter, the right of any member civilization to appeal for collective security support when facing existential threat. The Kel'vari Communion is under active military attack by the Krath Imperial Expansion Fleet. 3 of our colonies have been assaulted. Civilian populations have been taken captive. Our defense systems are not capable of resisting continued Krath advances. Without intervention, the Communion faces the complete dissolution of our civilization within months. We ask the Council, who will stand with us? A long silence. Then the responses began. Solon Delegate. The Solon hegemony extends its sympathies to the Kel'vari Communion during this difficult period. However, we must note that direct military intervention in what is, at its core, a territorial dispute between two sovereign civilizations falls outside the current scope of Council collective security protocols as ratified in the Third Charter Amendment. Elder Vael. With respect, Delegate, 300,000 of my people are being held in labor facilities right now. This is not a territorial dispute. Council Speaker Zorvan. Elder Vael. Protocol requires you yield the floor. Vael's skin flickered. A fast, involuntary pulse of red, then settled back to controlled blue. He stepped back. Myron Delegate. The Myron Confluence supports the Solon Statement. We would additionally note that the Krath Empire, while not a council member, has historically honored negotiated agreements when approached through proper diplomatic channels. We would strongly recommend the Communion explore a formal mediation request before escalating this matter to collective security. Councillor Thresh. We have sent 14 formal communications to Krath Imperial Command. We have received 2 responses. Both responses stated that the Krath do not recognize the Council's authority to mediate their internal expansion operations. They consider our space to already be theirs. Mediation requires 2 willing parties. Council Speaker Zorvan, Councillor Thresh. You have not been recognized to speak. Thresh sat. His skin pulsed a furious deep orange. And so it went, for 6 hours. The Trileth Compact offered to fund a humanitarian support fund for Kel'vari refugees. The Orvan Assembly suggested the Communion explore a negotiated incorporation agreement with the Krath to preserve cultural autonomy within their administrative structure. The Pelian Brotherhood formally moved that the Council commission a study on the efficacy of collective security mechanisms in addressing asymmetric threat scenarios to be delivered within 3 standard years. 3 years. Varath Delegate. The Varath succession wishes the Kel'vari Communion to understand that our reluctance to act is not born of indifference to your situation. It is born of hard-earned wisdom. We have survived 50,000 years precisely because we do not engage in conflicts that are not existentially threatening to us. The Krath Empire is not threatening Varath space. To commit Varath military assets to a conflict where we have no strategic interest would be irresponsible governance. A pause. We are sorry. Elder Vial, standing still on the speaking floor, listening to the final delegate votes being tallied. His skin is completely gray now, the Kel'vari color of absolute hollow loss. The final vote was not close. 9,244 votes against collective security action. 87 abstentions. 12 votes in favor. Most of them small civilizations who posed no military threat to anyone, and knew it. Elder Vial stood in the center of the speaking floor for a long moment after the result was announced. The chamber was already filling with the sounds of delegates beginning their post-session conversations, the gentle background noise of 10,000 years of civilized procedure moving on to the next item of business. Thun Delegate, quietly, standing close to Vial, voice barely above a whisper. Elder Vial, I am sorry, truly. For what it is worth, you have the moral support of every decent being in this chamber, even those who just voted against you. Elder Vial, quietly, without bitterness. Moral support does not stop warships, friend. Thun Delegate, no, it doesn't. A pause, the delegate's 6 eyes glancing around carefully before continuing. There is one option the Council did not formally discuss. It was not raised because several delegations made it clear before this session that they would leave the chamber if it was suggested officially. But I have heard it whispered in the corridors for the past 3 days. Vial's skin changed slightly, a faint flicker of something. Attention. Elder Vial, say it. Thun Delegate, the Terran Federation. The color that moved across Vial's skin was complicated. Not quite hope, not quite dread. Something that lived between the two. Elder Vial, the humans. Thun Delegate, nodding slowly. The humans.